Welcome back from that short commercial break. We continue with our business stories and start with rice farming as a booming sector in Uganda and is reported to be contributing highly to Uganda's food security. A majority of farmers in Uganda, however, carrying out rice farming in wetlands, something that poses a threat to the environment. Experts are now encouraging farmers to adopt climate-smart agricultural methods like upland rice farming and use of biochar organic fertilizers to reduce the effects of climate change.
Agriculturalists and environmental conservationists are encouraging rice farmers to adopt climate-smart agriculture methods to save wetlands.
We have also been doing, mainly on upland rice varieties, makes a significant contribution to the challenge that we have as Uganda on rice production in the wetlands. So these trials and protocols that we are doing, we are also getting to see which varieties work, which upland varieties are working very well, so that we can support government in its initiative to ensure that farmers adopt the upland rice varieties and get out of the wetlands.
We are promoting also what we call upland rice production through varieties that are better suited for the uplands, basically producing rice under rain-fed conditions. So you don't need flooding, you don't need to produce it in the wetlands, and therefore what that means is that we are able to reduce the pressure on the wetlands, because a lot of rice is produced in the wetlands and there is already conflict between the farmers and the government, who are trying to enforce the issues of exploitation of the wetlands.
We are looking at this protocol because everyone knows we have climate change. Look at how sunny it is in Doho. This is supposed to be the beginning of the rainy season. We are yet to see the rains, and so we have a climate change issue, and therefore we have an issue of water for production. And this protocol, especially specifically intermediate watering and drying, enables us to see how do we manage water for production for smallholder farmers.
Uganda is one of the least rice producing countries in East Africa, at about 2.5 million tons, with consumption per capita at about 6 kilograms, leaving a deficit of 60,000 metric tons.
Uganda's rice consumption has greatly increased, but almost 40% of it is actually imported, simply because our population has grown, so the demand also for food has increased. But with the growing population, so has our population also changed in their eating habits.
Moreover, rice is a crop or a food stuff that has a long life, shelf life. After production, after harvest, the rice can stay more than 5 years without destruction. So that provides good food security.
To increase rice production, farmers need to adopt new farming methods like rice legume integration, use of organic fertilizers like biochar, adopt upland rice growing, and rice ratooning, which promotes soil stability and improve soil health.
Ingenious method that has been found that can be utilized in this case is the biochar development, whereby the husks are charred in a process called pyrolysis. And this process, whereby the charred biochar is actually used either as fortified by adding what we call BSF frass to make it have more elements that can support crop life.
Ratooning is the cutting back of a crop, and then this crop regrows back on itself to give you another season's crop in summer. It's similar to what happens with grass. When you cut it back, you don't have to replant, it grows back.
Rice straws are not normally recommended in the fields because of the allopathetic effects with them. They also have they don't add much of the nutrient to the soil. So the approach we are using is vermicomposting. We get the straw, shred it like into smaller particles, mix it with manure. So the manure is introducing more nutrient to the straw. Then after it has composted for about 2 weeks, we introduce the worms, what we call earthworms, some call them the rigworms, to further decompose it and add more nutrient content to it in simple language.
Slow adoption of farmers to new farming methods, failure to embrace farming calendars and limited number of extensive service officers still pose a significant challenge.
These farmers are not climate resilient because the way they are overutilizing water, they are losing a lot of water, and simply because of adopting just a simple technique of following a cropping calendar, so that all farmers do one thing at the same time. They put their nurseries together during the same time, they plant during the same time, basically transplant during the same time.
One of the biggest challenges we have in production of cereal crops like maize, rice, millet, sorghum is a pest called Striga hamartheca.
Sada Mubale, UBC News,